Attention Northwest Arkansas businesses and talent seekers. Introducing OnboardNWA.com, your hyperlocal job board crafted for our unique community. Struggling to find the perfect match for your job openings? Onboard NWA simplifies the hiring process, connecting you with the region's top talent through tailored talent matching solutions. Whether you're an employer seeking expertise or a professional looking for your next opportunity, Onboard NWA is here for you. Discover more at onboardnwa.com. And let's build the future of Northwest Arkansas together.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Here's our host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn. I am excited to be with you today, as I always am. I'm sitting here with a very dear friend of mine, somebody that I met through the podcast, and we've become good friends over the years, and I can say years plural because it has been a couple of years now, but Nate Walls from Secondhand Smoke Barbecue and just everything that he's doing has been a pillar in our community here in Northwest Arkansas. And Nate was originally on episode 42 of the podcast. The title is BBQ is the only secondhand smoke that Nate Walls is blowing. So I don't know how I came up with that title, but that's what it was. And it tells Nate's origin story. So if you want to hear a little bit about, what made the man who he is today, I certainly encourage you to check out episode 42 of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. And as always, you can go to iamnorthwestarkansas.com/42 and check out that episode. We'll also put that in the show notes for this episode. But I wanted to sit down with Nate. I told Nate, I said, I want to catch up with you. I want to find out what's going on with Secondhand Smoke, with all the work that you're doing. I mean, Nate is, I got a chance to hang out with him over Christmas where we gave food away at a local, what was that, a housing complex?
Yeah, a High Point.
Okay, yeah. So, and I've done it before with him on several locations. There's nothing like going out with Nate and handing out a bunch of dinners and things of that nature. And so, what they say, food is one of the balms for the soul. And Nate has figured out a way to remind people that they need to eat well, that that food should be available to them at all times. And so he's out here fighting the good fight when it comes to dealing with food deserts and making sure that people have good nutrition on a regular basis. And so without further ado, welcome to the podcast for the second time, Nate Walls. How you doing, man?
Hey, Randy, what's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be here again, talking to you. And like you said, that I really enjoy you and your family coming down and just pouring into this community. And I just had an amazing time meeting everybody all together at the same time.
Yeah, it was nice. I think that was the first time that we were ever all together at one time hanging out with you. I know I've come to some of your events where we've given out food, and I think I brought some of the family to something that we did about a year or two ago at a property over by the University of Arkansas. But anyway, I can't keep up, man. You are all over the place. So why don't you just kind of tell the audience a little bit about what you're up to and what you're doing right now? Because I think for people to get a real understanding of who Nate Walls is, you met the call that came during the pandemic like nobody's business. Everywhere I looked, you were somewhere. Secondhand Smoke is here. Secondhand Smoke is there. And on top of all that, not only are you feeding people, but you're also running a business. So what has that been like for you over these last 2 years during the pandemic?
It's been hectic in a word, but it's been a good hectic So we started, as everybody probably knows, we started and we gave $1,000 and just said, whatever this gets, we're gonna feed people with whatever we have, and the community just poured in like nobody's business, like only NWA can, and started sending us donated in-kinds, donated monetary funds, and we've been able to make home-style meals that make people think of, an easier time when things weren't so hard.
Yeah, no, I know. And I it's funny because I've been to your house where people would just like drop off meat and drop off all kinds of perishables, for you to have. And you've had to get multiple refrigerators.
Yeah.
You've had to get a new automobile.
Yeah.
To a truck to get around. Yeah. I mean, you got a real fancy truck now, I guess. Was that donated to you?
It was donated.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you have, I think it's very clear where your heart is and what your focus is. And I think because of that, people have saw where you are and what you're trying to do and have met you there and said, you know what, I want to go on that journey with you. And if that means me donating a couple of cases of chicken or some meat or a vehicle, yeah, I'm going to do that. And that, to me, is part of the resiliency of Northwest Arkansas, is that people really have come together during the pandemic to help folks.
Yeah. I think that the thing is, this area is so versatile and people are so different and it's welcomed, and all donations are not created equal. I mean, people give where they can.
Yeah.
I got a cup, donated, and it's got a picture of me feeding the community, and that was just huge to me, So we've been able to do this together. Has nothing to do with me, has everything to do with the community and how we stand tall when things get so fragile. As COVID has showed us, things can get a little bit ugly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What have these last 2 years taught you? Because what I've noticed, like, you've upped your business game.
Yeah.
You got a new website.
Yeah.
You got people helping you out with the marketing, with the sales, and you had to raise some of your prices because, you were practically giving some stuff away.
Yeah.
and that's fine. But what have these last 2 years really taught you, Nate, about being a business owner, about doing what you do and what you love to do, which is feed people really good food? What are these last 2 years, what have they taught you?
It taught me that poverty didn't look one way. It taught me that what I saw or what I preconceived as poverty, and I grew up in poverty. And what I thought that I would be doing, I would be doing this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but I got more out of it. I mean, meeting new people and meeting different people and just being able to sit in that and learn that this is a calling. I didn't go, I was called. And so I've been able to share in that, and people that in any other vein I wouldn't have probably met. But the goodness in this area is impeccable around here. And we want to keep on doing it, keep getting stronger, keep getting bigger. You have to be smart about it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, things like this, they don't come for free, and I don't take anything for granted, and we have to do this together and smartly.
Yeah. And the one thing I have noticed also about what you're doing is that you've kind of built up your own following. So you've got like Nate's Army. and I've noticed this because when I go out and I've gone to help you, I helped you at a building, and I can't remember all the places that we've been, but I just noticed I see a lot of the same people. How have you been able to collaborate with all these different people and they just see fit to come out and help you out?
I get a lot of DMs and emails and texting and, just building relationships electronically initially, and then just meeting and sitting and having coffee with people and just kind of getting the feel. I'm still old school. I had to meet people and just, and I'm not saying that everybody's got different intentions, and I just I don't want any of that to affect the people that we're trying to serve. It's all about food and it's all about good and it's all about giving genuinely.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And, I know that you've had a lot of help, as we all have, through this pandemic. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jeremy Gothrop, who has kind of worked with you. You guys have worked, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. And, he's helped you kind of with your business. He's helped you with just mindset and how to put this thing together. But tell me how Jeremy has impacted you.
Jeremy has impacted me by, just imparting a lot of the business sense, how to be smart about money managing, weight of food, how you manage the business itself, how you manage people. Because when I started, I was kind of like, this is my baby and I don't want anybody else to hold my baby because you might drop it or something. And you have to, you can't be everywhere. I mean, I can't ask for money or anything without knowing the business, and I have to do this. I can't be out there doing that. And he's imparted so much wisdom, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, well, Jeremy's a good guy, and
he the dude.
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, and for those of you that don't know, Jeremy has Woodstone Pizza, and also Jeremy is part of the trio that runs Fayetteville Roots. So, shout out to Jeremy Gothrop, and I appreciate you, Jeremy, for what you've done for Nate and how you've helped him raise his game on so many different levels. And I've physically seen it, and I think it's really cool. And that, how Jeremy came in and helped you out is really the embodiment of what Northwest Arkansas is all about in terms of people helping each other out and, folks stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, I know how to do this. Let me show you how to do that. And so,
Yes. A lot of people, this is the only place that I know where people that own businesses will help another business out. Because everywhere I've been, it's been kind of cutthroat. The restaurant business is kind of cutthroat, but here it's, it's competition, but it's friendly competition, and it just boggles my mind at first. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to pay that forward.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's nice. And I would imagine that, people are calling you to help them out in terms of, like, I know you did a wedding recently that my son helped you with the catering aspect of it. But I know that people must be reaching out to you now saying, hey, can you cater this or can you do that? I know you feed a lot of people, but can you help us out because, your food is in high demand?
Yeah. I've had to be really versatile because I started just hardcore traditional backyard barbecue. And, you have to be conscious of the vegetarians and people that want to eat healthy. And, through my life coach with Stacey Harper, I've been able to just do some really health conscious things with her cancer. And that whole journey, I've learned how to go to that next level and take care of people that take care of themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I'd love to just for you to share a little bit about who Stacey Harper is. And I mean, she's been on the podcast as well. We try, like attracts like, and so we try to connect with those people that are making a difference in our community. And so I had Stacey on, and she's had a very outward experience with cancer that she's been going through, and you guys are very close, and I'm always amazed at what I see her out there doing. I mean, she was at the event that we were at for Christmas with, I think she was, they were Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And so
Trails of Love with Lakeisha from My Tea by Design, and they've been doing that for years. And it was soul moving. Yeah. I mean, the way that so many kids came out, so many families came out. There were even people that didn't have homes that came out, and we sit down and we were able to find about a month of a room for this couple that had a 2-year-old child and just didn't know where to turn, and we were able to navigate them through that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'm so glad to hear that. So what's next for Nate? I mean, what do you got in the works? I mean, you're still out there on a regular basis. The pandemic's not technically over yet. We're in the midst of this whole Omicron thing. But what is next for Nate and Secondhand Smoke?
Now, growing, and part of that growth is not just feeding, but actually finding resources for people other than food, teaching people how to fish for themselves, maybe giving some cooking classes, so people can kind of do the things that I do for themselves, and they can have some secondhand smoke when I'm not available,
Right.
But it's important to teach people how to fish, and if we can do some things like that, and if somebody knows different avenues to go through and say, hey, Nate, I think this is a good idea, and look at this, I'd be glad to. I invite anybody that has ideas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think people should definitely reach out to Nate and, if there's a way for them to help him and kind of let him know what's going on and maybe something that you want to add to what he's doing. And, speaking of which, right here, as we're recording this in the podcasting booth at the Fayetteville Public Library Center for Innovation, right down the hallway is a bunch of kitchens, teaching kitchens. That could be a place where you could go and do some classes for people. So,
you got my juices flowing.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Have you used these kitchens here?
No.
You have not?
No,
but you've seen them.
I did an event here, but I didn't use the kitchen. I just kind of came and set up, and I think I did a judging one time here.
Okay.
So, and that was awesome with Bright.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening around here, and certainly at this library, you need to check it out. And the deli is really cool. I don't know if you've had the beans and rice at the deli. Have you had them?
I don't know, but you had me at beans and rice. Oh
man, listen, I know David Johnson when they originally conceived of the idea of doing the deli. One of the things he said was we have a lot of different people that come here to the Fayetteville Public Library. Some people that drive up in Porsches, some people that walk up from down the hill. And one of the things he wanted to do was make sure that food was never an issue. And one of the things that they do is they provide a native-based beans and rice dish. So it's Arkansas rice, Arkansas beans, and it's really, really flavorful. And you can get a cup or you can get a bowl, and the bowl is humongous for like $2.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really cool. I encourage people to come check out the deli here on the lower level of the library in the new section. So it's kind of like right at the end of the library, beyond the Center for Innovation and beyond where the primary library is for the young kids. It's a deli there. You need to check it out. But their red beans and rice is absolutely insane.
And what they're doing for $2, and like you said, no matter what's in people's billfold, they can eat the same thing. That is what this community is all about. Food is just bilateral. You know what I mean? I mean, people get to taste and have that same experience and go through all those good memories of that feeling of home.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's so funny when you say that. As I think about that, food does transport you in time and place.
It does.
To different times, right? I'm sure you eat certain foods that remind you of sitting under your mother's.
Oh my God, yeah.
In your mother's kitchen, eating it, and getting your hand slapped because you're not supposed to take food out of the plate until it's time.
My God.
So, and I can think of some stuff that my grandmother would make, and I don't know why liver and onions come to mind right now, but it's just. I don't eat liver anymore.
Perish the thought.
Yeah, but no, it brings it up.
I understand that.
But I'm sure all of our listeners can understand that, and most of us have been fortunate enough to been under somebody's tutelage and in somebody's kitchen where they would feed you certain things, and you just it transports you back in time and place when you see that. So
yeah, I would have to say chicken and dumplings. My mom made the best chicken and dumplings, and it's just every time I make it, I get a little melancholy about rest in love that she taught me the things she did. So in a sense, they live on.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, man, and this is a little bit of a departure from our questioning so far. How have you been able to take care of Nate in all of this, right? Because you're taking care of everybody else. How is Nate taking care of Nate in this season of? Let's just face it. If we did not have the pandemic, maybe you're not where you are right now. You know what I'm saying?
Possible.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Yeah. So how has Nate taken care of Nate in this season?
So in the midst of everything, I was going through so much family problems, and I had to like reboot, so to speak. I was going through, nobody knew it, but I was going through crazy stuff. And I did this class with Lakeisha Harper, and it was like art therapy, therapeutic art.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really start doing these different colors, and we did a questionnaire, and I started painting, and a lot of stuff came out, and she interpreted it for me. And then Stacy, was really into therapy and in the community. A lot of us don't believe in therapy. It's
I
like,
know.
No, we don't do that. We don't talk.
Especially in the black community. Let's be honest.
No.
I mean, in the black community, nobody wants to say, I'm going to a therapist or I'm going to see somebody. That's like the kiss of death.
Now, you need to stop acting like a punk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, but that's something that we need to normalize because we don't do it. And, if it's not prayer, I'm going to pray for you.
Right.
I'll start praying. Get on your knees and let's pray together. And that's good. I love the Lord. But sometimes you need to get in front of somebody and just talk about things because we have so much things going on in our past. And let's face it, all our childhoods aren't ideal, but we need to talk those things out so we can take care of our families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you said it. I mean, and it's true. I mean, we carry a lot of baggage around with us. Some of it is baggage that we understand, and some of it is baggage that we don't understand and have never dealt with. So we just carry it around, and we carry it from one place to the next, and we never get rid of it. We never offload so that we can, be free to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. So that's how I do it, just released. Actually, tomorrow is my first session with Dr. Hawkins, and it's something that I'm nervous about, but I'm okay to say I'm nervous about that, and just try to get better. Until I get better, I can't try to say, hey, let's improve this in this community, let's improve that. I have to be 100% Nate, and the only way to do that is through physical, mental, emotionally, spiritual, and just trying to take care of me and then take care of everybody else.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. I mean, are you referring to Dr. James Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Amazing dude.
Very good man. Yeah,
Amazing
very good
dude.
man. So
Yeah.
his wife's name is Nicola too. So
Really?
we have that in common. Yep. His wife's name's Nicola, and they're friends of ours. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
And that's not a common name.
It's not a common name. But he's a very good man, and I'm glad that you mentioned him. And you're right. What you said a second ago bears repeating. It's just like the directions that we get on an airplane. If you're traveling with a child and the oxygen mask come out, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Then put the oxygen mask on somebody.
Oh my God! Somebody just said that.
You can't. If you're so busy taking care of everybody else that you don't take care of yourself. Yeah. So I mean, this is the license for everybody. That's not being selfish for anybody listening to this to put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah,
and then put it on other people afterwards. You have to get right with yourself, whatever that means, and then take care of other people after the fact. And I can imagine for you. Because you've probably felt it. You've been like, man, I'm out here feeding the world.
Yeah.
And everything that I'm dealing with is in tatters. And I've got to get myself right. So,
I think, the bottom was when I lost my brother.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then I was just like, man, what am I going to do? I almost wanted to quit, but people around me, held me up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said, hold me down. Sometimes we need somebody to hold you up just so you can get your feet underneath. And so I knew right then that I need to take care of myself a little bit better. Yeah. It's a shame it takes you circling the drain
for you to be like, you know what, I got to take care. I got to fix this. So absolutely.
So a lot of times L's are not just losses. Sometimes L's are lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember when your brother passed away, and I think, our own mortality is always called into question when we lose people close to us.
Yeah.
And we, you have to think about it. So,
yeah.
Well, listen, is there anybody else that you'd like to give a shout out to that has been, an indispensable shoulder, an indispensable provider of wisdom or just, anybody that's been in your orbit that has been really helpful to you throughout especially throughout these last 2 years?
I would say, like the aforementioned Stacy, Lakeisha Harper, their mom and dad, like I just clung to them. I'm like their
they adopted you.
I'm like their family stalker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they've been able to just keep me, strengthened and, and I've gotten really into God, and just people that I wouldn't have thought been always there for me. Of course, my family, my kids, I love them to death. And when they say, my daughter, I was saying, you like a whole different dude. And he's, and she said, you an old dude, but you're different dude. I'm like, I kind of appreciate that. I kind of not. But just people all over the community. I mean, all the way up to Bentonville and Bella Vista, just imparting the wisdom and just loving on me, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, your barbecue travels because you're all over the place. I mean, we were down in I don't know what that town was, right below the airport there in Fayetteville, and then you're all over the place. So, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, tell people what's the best way for them to connect with you if they want to connect with you and maybe they want to hire you to come do an event for them, cater an event, or if they want to connect with you during the next time that you're going out and providing food for some organization or some, facility or place. So
okay. So you mentioned the new website and Carl Dunn has done my website and he's done an awesome job. So we rebooted a lot of stuff. We started the Life menu, which is all plant-based, and that's inspired by Stacy and her journey with cancer.
Sure.
And go on there. If you like that kind of thing, you can go on my website at secondhandsmokenwa.com and look at that. And you can also get some good traditional barbecue, brisket, fall off the bone, ribs, chicken, just the old school things, and coleslaw, potato salad, a pasta salad, all the good stuff. Even got customized stuff on there. So just get at me on there. And Second Helping, if you want to donate, if you got time, if you got in-kind, some stuff in the pantry, just shoot at me at secondhelpingnwa.com or reach out to me at secondhelpingnwa@gmail.com. And I would love anything you got. You can bring the kids out to get some hours, just to see what it means and it feels like to give back. I know your son is always helping them, and you've done an amazing job with that young man.
Thank you. I'm working on all three of them, but that's one of the things that we said. We said, you guys are going to do community service, period. End of story. I mean, that was full stop. And so they've worked with the NWA Food Bank. They've done a little bit of everything, but they've spent time working with you and others. And we all need to be doing that. And we all need to be certainly encouraging our kids to give back, because then you can really develop and create some well-rounded kids where in their minds, it's not always about them.
Yes. And the part about that, when people get their kids to come out and help, it's not just they come out and they serving up food, or they come out and help me with other stuff. I'm going to be talking to them because I think it's important, because when I was a kid, I didn't have that. So I'm going to spend some time with them and talk to them. And if it's something that I see, I'm going to try to guide them. Me and Josh had a real good conversation about you guys. And I think a lot of times when they're in the house, they're like, oh, my dad, my mom, are they always on me? Yeah. And when somebody else said, well, they kind of right.
Right.
It looks different.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? So
it softens the blow.
It really does. She's like, okay, then. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool. So
please reach out.
Yeah, I definitely, and I want to encourage everybody to do that. The food is great. If you haven't had the jackfruit barbecue, I mean, just imagine it's like pulled pork, but it's jackfruit, and on a bun, it's insane. It's really good. So
Thank you.
Just want to encourage you to check it out. It's an alternative, but then you also do some pulled pork barbecue. So you got options there for everybody that likes their meat And then for those of you that are more plant-based, there's a little something for everyone.
Smoked mushrooms and all that good stuff.
Everything, everything.
Yeah,
cool.
But we can't forget about the wings, though.
No, the wings. Yeah, now, I was just about to say that. Just a shout out. Nate's wings are amazing, and I typically get a $50 or $60 order of wings every month or two just to have around the house, and we'll get them, and the kids love eating them, and man, they are really good. And I've got, Super Bowl's coming up.
After this sick weekend?
Yeah. So
you got to get some wings.
Have to get some wings.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So, but Super Bowl's coming up, and just any type of sporting event is probably a good reason to give Nate a call and order some wings from him. And he'll either deliver them or have you pick them up, and you can go from there. So that's it. Nate, thank you so much, man, for coming on the podcast again for a second time. This is cool. I've had a few people lately that I've had on for a second time, and I don't know. It's just there's always good stories out there, but then there's some people that are doing really special things, and so I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing in the community to make this community a better place, and this community is better because of people like you. So thank you so much.
I just want to thank you and this community. In that same vein, with next month being Black History Month, there are so many businesses that do so good work. I mean, they do phenomenal work. Let's think about just giving them some business next month.
Yeah.
Just pouring into them because a small business is a dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's their dream. That's what you invested in, is that person's dream and the dream of King. And I know for me, I am going to try to invest in these businesses, these local businesses. So.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. It was so good. So good to sit back down with Nate and just talk about what he's doing and what he's up to, and really excited as to, how things are going with him and how he continues to expand his offerings at Secondhand Smoke and just all that he's doing. So appreciate you guys listening to this episode, and really just want to encourage you guys as we continue to expand our offerings here at I Am Northwest Arkansas to check us out. If you're not on the newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter and subscribe. And that way we can stay in touch with you and kind of let you know what's going on. To learn more about us or to read or download the show notes from today's episode, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. You can listen to this podcast and sign up for our free newsletter to keep up with us and all things NWA. And finally, you can follow the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast wherever you listen to it. And please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Remember, our podcast comes out every Monday, rain or shine. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week for another new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.